It's time for the introduction of this year's Polka Visionary Personality of the Year. Now here's your host, Mike Schneider, with a very special guest.
Thank you, Jeremy. This year's Polka Visionary Personality of the Year has impacted the sound of polka music as we know it. Yet his contributions haven't come from his musicianship or expertise in sound engineering. You might say he's been more instrumental than that, helping shape the sound of every Meisner recording since El Rio Drive, every album by Gordon Hartman, everything I've released, as well as the recordings of countless other artists for the better part of the last 40 years. In fact, he's played a major role in my life for more than 25 years, serving as the best man at our wedding in 2007. My friend and fellow Polka Visionary, it's my privilege and pleasure to introduce the Polka Visionary Personality of the Year for 2013, Mr. Ivo Baldoni. And Ivo, my first question typically is, how did you get your start in polka music? However, we'll change it this year a bit for you, and that is, how did you get your start in accordions?
Well, my start was, you want to go out this weekend? You come and work. My dad said, this is what you have to do. He said, education is fine, going out is fine, but you're going to learn a trade first. That's like my start. My dad pushed me into it.
And when did you start working with your father, Ivo?
Being with him and him because of the English language, I was with him probably as soon as I could put together a concrete sentence.
And your father, of course, was Ivo Baldoni, a major influence in your life.
Absolutely, yeah. If you use the term mentor, or if you want to use the term, any kind of term, but not only my father's my friend, best friend, you could rely on him for anything. He was family, very family-oriented. Pass that on to me. Family comes first. Your business came second, and if you have time left over, you have some fun. At the end of his life, he put a lot more into his, working more than having fun, but I guess fun for him was working too.
What important lessons did your father pass along to you, Ivo?
My father told me one simple thing, and I think that's something that you create to all businesses. Do your best. Try to do your best always. Treat everybody equal, and you'll never have to look over your shoulder. Mistakes can be made. I'm a human being, but always do your best, and people will respect that. Even if your best sometimes doesn't work, but at least you tried your best. And that's all you have to do in business. Then you don't need a collecting agency to collect money from people. You don't need an attorney to deal with all the mishandlings. And if you deal that in life and you handle that way, it just comes to you. That's what we try. I don't call a customer up and ever say to them, you need to spend another $500 because I have to put another, 10 hours of work in there or 20 hours of work. I'll call them up if it's necessary for their own protection. If I look at something that needs an hour extra work, 2 hours extra work, or a part, I just do it. I don't want that thing of going back and forth trying to explain. I don't want to sell myself. I don't want to sell the job. I want to give them what they need.
And Baldoni Accordions today carries on as a family tradition.
Well, yeah, it's family business. I'm the third generation. We will hope, we don't know if it's going to be a fourth generation, but because my children have decided different roles in life, but that's fine. The name will probably continue with other, not direct bloodline, but not a direct bloodline, So, so I'm not worried too much about that. And we'll take it to whatever degree we need to do it. Yeah, and big is in the relative of being a name more to me than a size of a company anymore. And that's who I want to associate myself with. That's what I think the future will hold for us, just being the name, being there for people.
And of course, your name is synonymous with accordions. However, that's not all that got your business started, is it, Ivo?
Well, fundamentally it was, yes. That's all we did was the accordions out of one room. See, first of all, with us, we old-fashioned. My dad was old-fashioned type of a starting of a company. Most people, when they start a business, they go to their banker, present their plans, get a loan, and try to be big. We wanted to go slow and go comfortable. So everything we've done from day one and 40-some years later, 45 years later, has been with our own money. Building of a store, building of a product, development of product, inventory. Everything has been with our own funds. So, yes, in the beginning stages, when we wanted to make a move, we wanted to make sure that we are on steady ground. So if we want to develop something, so we took on other things. We did string instruments, and you need to be good. So we did things that we could be good at, and working with wood, which is an accordion is wood. It's just another string instrument, another format. Actually, it's an easy. It's a to use that term, walk in the park. working on string instruments is a walk in the park. And we were good at it, working for the major companies, so there's extra cash flow that came in. So it helped us develop the product with our own money, and so we could do what we needed to do without looking at, okay, the bank's going to give you so much, but what can we do with this money for development because we need to spend this? No, we could do what we wanted to do and create the product that we needed to create, self-funded. So yeah, we took on other instruments. When things grew, we slowly kind of weeded ourselves off of that, because it's like anything. We had created a clientele base that was so large that you just want to go cold turkey one morning and say, hey, we're not going to do it and take care of you no more. Because our philosophy has always been, take care of the customers you have before looking for new ones. So we had this customer base. So we had to slowly let them move on away from the string instruments, because we just didn't want to one day just say, no, I'm not going to do your work for you anymore. And it took some years, but as of '92, we haven't done any string instruments at all, and just devoted all our time into the accordion.
Well, since we were just talking a little bit about stringed instruments and guitars, here's a song that features three of them, three guitars, Deep Water, here on the Mike Schneider Band Year in Review.
Drifting into deep water, I'm starting to care for you, and you're getting me in deep water. Be careful what you do. Now you want to romance, but I'm seeking love. I know I'll regret it when it ends, 'cause I'm winding up in deep water. Why can't we just be friends? Restless in this deep water, I'm lost between right and wrong, and my love is true as deep water. Your love won't last as long. Now where will it lead me, and where will it end? I can't help but wish I only knew. Winding up in deep water, so deep in love with you.
Deep Water from my Accordion Artistry CD release. And we're talking with this year's Polka Visionary Personality of the Year, Ivo Baldoni. Talking a little bit before the song about guitars. And Ivo, who were some of the big name artists that you worked with?
Well, locally here, locally meaning in Milwaukee, Wisconsin area, we worked with the Bodines. We did their string instruments, and also the Bodines, keyboardist, incorporated an accordion. He came in and realized from working on their guitars, the keyboardist coming with them to our place in Milwaukee, which used to be a hangout for a lot of guitar people, he realized, hey, maybe this could be, so he worked it into their music. So he was one of the first. Michael Ramos is one of the first, probably in the early 80s, to incorporate an accordion in popular music of its period. But Bodines, Violent Femmes, Brian Ritchie, we took care of them. We had local jazz artists, George Pritchett, Donnie Mombolo, These are all local big name people. Then we worked for people outside. When working for Gibson, they would send us like Dave Dudley, Charlie Daniels. We worked with them, for them, through Gibson and others. I mean, many, many big name people.
Now, moving from the guitar to the accordion, you've carried on the tradition of working with some of music's biggest names. Who are some of the big names who play your accordions today?
Maybe you as the interviewer know more big names that play my product. There's what? Michael McDonald. He's a big name with the Doobie Brothers. Michael McDonald. On the rock and roll segment, we sell accordions to. Now, sometimes it's just that you don't sell accordion because many times the accordion is in the band. It's been recorded with the band with their keyboardist / accordions for the last 20 years. But people that play it like Sheryl Crow. I mean, bigger than Sheryl Crow. I mean, she's up there. She bought our first accordion in 1995 from us, and she has 2 or 3 after that. But Sheryl Crow's, you can say, is a big name. We sold accordions to the Dixie Chicks. Alabama uses our accordion. In rock and roll, you have John Mellencamp. I've had even famous baseball players play my accordion.
And who is that famous baseball player?
John Schmaltz. They come in sometimes, and I'm like clueless who they are. And they're like looking at me like, the time that the father for this Johnny Schmaltz was coming to the store, to buy accordion from me, he's got this 5x10 autographed picture of his son. He's got a baseball right here. You see that autographed baseball of his son. And he's got this on the counter. And then we're talking a little bit, and then he says to me, "You don't follow baseball much, huh?" I said, "Well, I'm going to tell you a story about baseball." I says, in our store in Milwaukee, when the Brewers hired one of their first big league pitcher, I think his name was Teddy Higueras. I said, these 3 guys come in one day at the store at our place on Brady Street, and 2 in a suit, and one's dressed in sports apparel, but real nice, and they're walking around. It was a real busy day, and it was my dad and I, but the guys in the back doing guitars, they were not involved in accordions. So I said, "Guys, I'll be with you in a few minutes." A few minutes got to be 10 or 15. One of the guys with the ties came up to me. He says, "Hey," he said, "Kid, you're not a baseball fan, are you?" I said, "No, I really am not." I said, "I'm a soccer guy, He said, "That guy over there playing your accordion is the new pitcher for the Brewers." I said, "Oh, really? Oh, great." So then all of a sudden, I show some recognition. So I said, "Come on over, take a picture." He ended up buying a button accordion from me, but it was Teddy Higueras, so I'm telling him the story. Now, the guy leaves. He buys an accordion. He spends all this kind of money, $14,000+ and he leaves, and I got the picture there of, but I'm not paying much attention. So my UPS driver comes in, and he knows that occasionally he sends accordions to famous artists because they see the names on the boxes, and he goes, "Don't tell me he was here." I said, "Well, not he, but his father was here. Don't you know who that guy is? He's a famous, X, Y, and Z." So he told me the whole story. So the poor dad left here, and I didn't even know who his son was.
Now, Ivo, you've obviously worked with some interesting people. Do you have any other stories to share?
And I'll tell you a story. I'm not going to use the name, but he says, a guy comes up to me, and I remember when we were doing the wholesale business, and I was out in L.A., and I kept on watching him go past my booth. He says to me, "I want to talk to you." We were all busy. So one evening when the show closes after hours, we're only the people that are exhibiting and the demonstrators can be there. He comes over to my booth. He says, "I got to sit down and talk to you." He said, "Man," he said, "I have a different respect for you accordion people." I said, "Why?" He said, "I thought we were wild. But man, I did a gig with this accordion guy. He was so wild that he embarrassed us." So he told me what they did and how they. And I said, "Well, yeah, they're the accordion player is not you got the guy that goes to church on Sunday, and you got the guy that just probably is crazy more than anyone else out there."
That's pretty funny, Ivo. Now, you were telling me during the last song about a story involving Harry Connick Jr. as well.
Steve Meisner was just telling me the story. He was going to learn. He wanted to play the accordion for the accordion part. He was going to learn the accordion, but he wanted to learn the left hand. So he hired someone from the East Coast to teach him this, and whoever showed up was teaching him. And he realized that he could do the part of the left hand. He had in places. And after he tried and realized, he said, "I have a whole different level of respect for an accordion." He said, "I cannot believe. I thought the piano was complex. This is way more complicated than the piano would ever be, and it's not. But it can do more." Complicated, but people, you have to have he has a whole different level of respect. Sometimes people think it as a low-level instrument, and some of these big-name musicians, they think of that way until they put their hands on it and realize, wow, what can I do with an accordion? Or when they come here and look at the accordion, even from my service aspect of it, and look at it and go, my God, I didn't know that there was that many parts in it and how it's put together. They have no idea. the complexity of the instrument.
Well, speaking of the complexity of the instrument, we're going to play a song that really shines on the accordion called the Clarinet Polka right here on the Mike Schneider Band Year in Review. When we come back, we'll talk more about polka music. The Clarinet Polka, right here on the Mike Schneider Band Year in Review from our Stretch of the Imagination release. We're talking with this year's Polka Visionary Personality of the Year, Mr. Ivo Baldoni. And Ivo, we're talking more about polka music right now. Why do you think your accordions are so popular among polka musicians?
It's real simple. I think because what we, in the early stages of wanting to work with musicians and wanting to grow in the business, we listened to the polka players and made a product that suited their needs. The choice of woods, the tunings, the reed configuration, and even the look. All those things we took, in fact, we just take an accordion and said, okay, this is accordion, should be for the polka music. We didn't do that. We actually listened to people and developed off of what they told us, the input. That's why I think it's real popular. Because once they play it, they realize, what they can do with it for the balance, the sound, and it works. And I'm going to go one step back. That's why sometimes being not an accomplished virtuoso accordionist makes you a better manufacturer, because you listen to people. You don't impose your own creative ideas, because every performer, every artist has their own way they think that song should sound like, or that thing should be written or played. And it's happened, and if you look back in history and do case in point, all the accordion manufacturers in Italy, there was no one that was an great accordionist. They were decent accordionists, good accordionists, understood the accordion, how it works, and built accordions for their people. You put and use your ingenuity and creativity and experience, and you make the product, and it works.
Well, I will personally attest to that, Ivo. I have 2 American polkas myself, and I'm very proud to say so. Well, Ivo, we're starting to wind down this interview, and as such, we typically ask the following question, which is, what do you see for the future of polka music?
It'll be around. Oh, absolutely. It'll be around because it's a music that is lively, fun, happy music. I mean, all the positive terms you're going to use. It's music that's going to be there. Polkas and waltzes, how you cut the timing or what the words you use or whatever you do, it's been around for a long time. You can masquerade it as some concerto piece by changing the time signature, but the real heart and roots of it was a polka, the Viennese waltz, Well, how you cut it was, you know, yeah, you can add string ensembles, but it's going to be around. In my opinion, maybe it will change. I think what's changing it is the state of the economy is making things, because keeping costs are going to affect what places are going to hire and who they're going to hire. It's a cost factor, what comes down to it. Not to be able to hire a band is sad. But the music itself, I believe, will always be here.
So that's what you see for the future of polka music. How about the accordion?
That's going to be a tough one, because accordion is a very complex instrument, like I mentioned to you before. So many parts, and to do it right, companies have tried, even in Italy, tried to not mass produce it, but put it more in a production type base to keep costs down. Does not work. Accordion's got to be done by hand. If you want the accordion to be a good accordion, it's got to be done by hand. It has to be done the way it is, and all that does is escalate and costs go up, because the Europeans are catching up to the parity. I have caught up and passed the parity of American workers. Their pay base is way higher. They have more benefits. They have that, so that puts another cost factor. Materials are getting harder to come by, more costly. Transportation charges, since 9/11, transportation charges have doubled, tripled. I think they've gone up like 700%. I mean, definitely have gone up. I mean, to the point where it's out of control. So that affects everybody. It affects when you import the woods, you import the leathers, you do this processing factor. Where I see the accordion's going to be, the accordion's going to be this way. I believe, I could be wrong. We're going to have third world countries producing the low, middle quality grade, because the Chinese are going to improve themselves, and no question about it. The Japanese improved with electronics and guitars, and now they're one of the forerunners. And American companies that are making guitars, or other Europeans, are only making handmade ones. Italians, like myself, are going to be only doing the high end. No middle of the road or low end accordion. It's going to be only, when we continue, it's going to be the high end. So going to the Stradivarius of the accordions is going to be the Italians. The middle to low end that's going to have to buy from a third world country.
And what do you see for the future of Baldoni accordions in particular?
What do I see for the future? We'll continue as long as people want us to continue. To the day that they feel that they don't need to play an accordion or a Baldoni accordion, which I don't think that's going to happen, because as you know, as people know me, we don't spend a dime in advertisement, radio play, flyers. We don't do, I mean, we have it, flyers, etc. if we need to give it out, but we don't really promote ourselves. The product promotes it, and our customers promote us. And they come pre-sold. They sell themselves. So I know that we will be there as long as we continue what we're doing. And we'll be there. If it's not my direct son or our daughter taking over, there'll be other family members involved. But we'll be there as long as people want us to be there. We'll be there for them.
I know a lot of accordion players will appreciate hearing that, myself included, Ivo. And finally, what do you see for your future personally?
Well, me, I mean, I love what I do. 90% of the time. There's that 10% of the time where it's like, what did you say to me? I don't need nonsense. If anybody knows me, I'm a no-nonsense person. I don't like nonsense in my life. I don't like nonsense in business. So I like that part. Will I slow down? Absolutely, because not only from being business, but this is not my own focus. I love a lot of sports. I love a lot of outside activities. And that keeps me fresh. I will take time off. In the past, we took less time. I take more time now. Before I will take a day or two off for Thanksgiving. Now I take a week off for Thanksgiving. But when I come back, I work. When I work nonstop. I'm not a person that takes a break. People that work for me, and my friend looked at me the first day and said, when do you take a break? I said, I don't take a break. When I start, I go to the end. I continue. And I'm not a person that can be idle. I cannot be idle. When I'm home on weekends, I'm doing something, either related to sports or around the house. I cannot be idle. I will not sit down. Relaxing to me is doing those things. Relaxing to me could be 2-hour mountain bike ride up the mountain for a 45-minute descent, but a 2-hour ascent, pedaling hard up the mountain. That's relaxing for me. For some people, that's like, I'm dead for the week, and I'll do that for a week straight. So that's how I relax. Skiing, mountain biking, I love that. I love windsurfing. I windsurf in the summer in Italy. They know me now at the everyone in Italy knows me. From the factory, people there, to the mailman. If the wind is up and it's above 15 knots, you're not going to find Ivo. You want to find Ivo? He's at the ocean windsurfing, and you know exactly where I go. But the point is that you work hard to get to this level, to do it as well, to be flexible enough and, and to make it affordable enough to take that time off.
Well, Ivo Baldoni, congratulations on being named the Polka Visionary Personality of the Year for 2013. Do you have any concluding remarks?
It's a simple slogan that a customer came up, said to us, and the gentleman is no longer with us, but about 20-some years ago, he said, Ivo, you guys don't have a slogan. You have to have a slogan. So he came up with a slogan for us. And his slogan was, Baldoni, we sell the best and fix the rest.
Indeed you do. Ivo, thanks again for joining us, and congratulations on being this year's Polka Visionary Personality of the Year. We'll wrap up this segment with a little variety tune called Tiny Bubbles here on the Mike Schneider Band Year in Review.
Tiny bubbles in the wine make me happy, make me feel fine. Tiny bubbles make me warm all over, with the feeling that I'm gonna love you till the end of time. The golden moon, and here's to the silver sea, but mostly here's a toast to you and me. Tiny bubbles in the wine make me happy, make me feel fine. Tiny bubbles make me warm all over, with the feeling that I'm gonna love you till the end of time. The golden moon, and here's to the silver sea, but mostly here's a toast to you and me. Tiny bubbles in the wine make me happy, make me feel fine. Make me warm all over, with the feeling that I'm gonna love you till the end of time. With the feeling that I'm gonna love you till the end of time.
From my Accordion Artistry CD release, that was Tiny Bubbles.